Last year, I watched the bulk of the Scooby-Doo films, including Scooby-Doo and Batman the Brave and the Bold, but for some reason, Scooby-Doo meets Batman completely bypassed me, and for some reason, I never watched this. I finally have, and I can say it's not too bad. It's not what I was expecting, but also, I don't mind that, and I will expand on that in a moment. This was released in 2004. It's directed by William Hanna and Joseph Barbera. And it's written by Bill Finger, Bob Kane, Joe Ruby, and Ken Spears, with a voice cast including Casey Kasem, Don Messick, Heather North, Olan Soule, Larry Storch, and various others. Great voice acting. Don't love the animation quality, but it's definitely not too bad. And why it wasn't what I was expecting, but I don't mind, is that it's actually technically 2 episodes of the new Scooby-Doo movies. So on the one hand, it's a bit of a cop-out because it's not a brand new feature film, but at the same time, I don't mind that because I haven't seen the new Scooby-Doo movies. At least I don't remember them. Maybe I saw them as a child. They were originally released in the 70s. But for me, that's not the series I remember watching growing up, and I certainly have no recollection of this Batman crossover. So yes, I would have preferred it on the one hand if it was a fresh feature film, but also I haven't seen the original episodes, so I don't mind. It's apparently 2 episodes called The Dynamic Scooby-Doo Affair and The Caped Crusader Caper. And I won't go into too much detail about the narratives, I don't want to spoil it for me. The excitement was wondering what the stories would be like, what characters, what DC characters would be involved. So I don't want to give away too much of that, but I will tell you the main Batman characters that feature in case you're partial to particular ones and not bothered about others, but I won't go into a tremendous amount of detail. But basically, we have Scooby and the gang teaming up with Batman and Robin to solve various mysteries. And we also have 2 other key DC characters, including the Joker and Penguin. And I have to say, those are 2 of my favourite DC villains. So I was very, very happy about that. With regards to the stories themselves, they're absolutely fine. They're not necessarily the most entertaining, but I didn't dislike them. I thought they were okay. For me, it was the novelty. The novelty of Batman and Scooby-Doo being in the same story. Obviously, we've had that before with Scooby-Doo and Batman, but that for me was the pull factor rather than the narratives themselves. But there's nothing necessarily wrong with the stories. They work well, they flow well, the mystery elements are okay. I don't think the mystery elements are as strong as they are in most other Scooby-Doo stories, and I think that is because it's more so, in my opinion, leaning on the novelty of having Batman there. So, yes, the investigations are good, the stories work, the characters are great, the animation's okay. It definitely feels like a product of its time, which is not a bad thing. The voice acting's very good. If you're a Scooby-Doo and Batman fan, I think they're worth watching. Would you enjoy it if you're not a Batman fan, but a Scooby fan? Or vice versa? I guess to some extent, but I do feel like it is very heavily relying on the enjoyment of the crossover rather than the stories themselves. The stories are fine, but it certainly is leaning into Scooby and Batman more than anything, which is fine. I feel like that's the whole point of the episodes or the film. So, yes, I think you could certainly follow them. You could follow the stories if you're not that bothered about one or the other, but I think for the most part, it's better if you're a fan of Scooby and Batman, which thankfully I am. For example, if this were some other kind of other DC character, then I might not have enjoyed it as much. So I'm willing to admit that the novelty there of Batman and Scooby together was what appealed to me the most. I can't really complain. As I said, in general, releasing them both as a feature film or presenting it as a film feels like a bit of a cop-out. But that being said, I probably otherwise would have never seen these stories, so I'm not too bothered. If you're a Scooby and Batman fan, then I'd say Scooby-Doo meets Batman might be worth checking out.